Welcome to another one of our monthly YouTube AMAs where we dive deep into some of our partners and some other projects ecosystem. We have Presearch and none other than the CEO of Presearch. Tim, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background and how did you climb the ladder to become the CEO of Presearch?
Thanks very much, Alex. Appreciate it. In terms of my crypto background, I'm a little bit older than you are, although I still have a little bit more hair. So let me start with the recent stuff. I actually ran the first fund in the crypto space in 2013. I was introduced to Bitcoin that year. Thought it was the dumbest thing I had ever heard of, but an organization that I was working with ran this fund, and so they said, "Look, would you run this fund?" And it was there was no discretionary management. People would subscribe. We'd buy Bitcoin on Bitstamp. People would redeem. We'd sell Bitcoin. There was no decision making. So I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll run your fund." Crazy thing, this Bitcoin. But then I climbed the learning curve, did a lot of research on it, and I was in Eastern Europe at the time. Had a fund of funds focused on Eastern Europe, and I just didn't like the way. Didn't think things were going to go well. So I was living in Eastern Europe. I left. And instead of shutting down my fund, though, after I found out about Bitcoin, I decided to convert it into a trading fund. So in late 2013, early 2014, I launched the first Bitcoin trading fund in history. Then I moved back to the United States for family reasons and good family reasons. I shut that fund down because an offshore fund started a fund in the US, a trading fund as well. It's about 8 years old now. And somewhere along the line, about 4 years ago, started a yield farming operation, which is now the largest in the world with two partners. I should say the largest in the world that we know of, well into 9 digits in this thing, and a venture capital fund. And the VC fund, I've been involved in Presearch from the very beginning of Presearch. Actually, really launched the token because I did an interview with CNBC, and they asked me to recommend 3 large tokens. I said, no, I'll recommend a large, a medium, and a small one. And the small one I recommended was Presearch. And so in 2017 on CMC, on CoinMarketCap, there were big banners that talked about Presearch and CNBC, and they had my face on them for like 6 weeks. I was the banner ad in August and September, and then again in November they ran it. I got a little tired of the project because I didn't like management. And a year and a half ago, the old management came to me and said, "Look, would you take the project?" And I said, "No." And this came back again and said, "Please, would you run the project?" And I said, "No." Very biblical, right? Like the cock crowing 3 times or whatever. And the third time, I said, okay, fine. I'll take over the project. The project had at the time really great aspects to it and really serious problems. And I didn't realize how serious they were. I probably would have said no a third time. But anyway, took it over. My investment fund, the VC fund, went into it. I recused myself from the decision. So it's my partners who make the decision whether to invest or not. And they decided it was worthwhile and turned around the project completely in a year and a half. Strangely enough, on one day, November 13th, that VC fund acquired more than half of the shares. And on November 15th, we got full control of the last of the infrastructure we needed from prior management. So we really had the unfettered ability to run Presearch from November 13th of last year. And we have just fixed all the problems and launched, half a dozen major initiatives with Presearch. And I'm really, really genuinely excited about the project.